I knew something was off the second. I checked my phone at lunch and saw my motion alert pinging like crazy. When I opened the security cam feed, I almost spit out my drink. There, in broad daylight, was Patricia Hendress, the self-proclaimed queen of our HOA, marching across my lawn with a clipboard and a tape measure like she owned the place. It wasn't the first time. Patricia had tried to push her authority beyond the HOA boundaries. She'd already fined me for having non-regulation grass height, whatever that means, and once even complained that my garden hose was too visible. But this was different. This was her trespassing. The video showed her pacing back and forth, bending down, measuring, scribbling something, then pulling out her phone to take pictures. My lawn camera caught every smug expression, every muttered insult. Looks like 6 inches. Against the rules, she whispered to herself. I watched in disbelief. My backyard gate was clearly locked, my property line marked by posts the HOA itself installed. There was no misunderstanding. Patricia had climbed over the short stone fence to snoop. I called my neighbor Joe, who lived 2 houses down. He checked his camera feed too. Buddy, he said, chuckling. She's in your flower bed now. Looks like she's auditioning for a gardening show. The best part? My cameras were recording in 4K with cloud backup. When I replayed the clip later that night, it was cinematic gold. Patricia in her floral blouse, tiptoeing across my yard like a cartoon burglar. I decided to post a short clip online titled, When HOA Gets Too Comfortable. Within hours, the video blew up. Comments flooded in. She's measuring grass like it's a crime scene. This woman's power trip is legendary. Bro, she scaled the fence like a ninja. By morning, my video had over 400,000 views. People started tagging their friends, sharing their own HOA horror stories. Even local news pages started picking it up. Then my phone rang. It was Patricia herself, her voice tight with fury. Mr. Lawson, she snapped. I demand you take that video down immediately. It's harassment. I smiled into the receiver. Harassment? Patricia, you climbed my fence. You'll be hearing from our attorney, she barked before hanging up. But I had no idea her next move would make the situation explode. Far beyond our little neighborhood. The morning after the video went viral, I opened my door to find a bright orange envelope taped to my mailbox. Official, HOA letterhead, bold and accusatory. Notice of violation, it read. My alleged crime? Public defamation of an HOA officer. I almost laughed. Patricia wasn't just doubling down, she was digging her own grave with a golden shovel. I walked outside just in time to see Patricia strutting down the sidewalk, with 2 board members trailing behind, her like nervous interns. Her sunglasses were perched dramatically on her head, and she carried that same clipboard like it was a royal scepter. Good morning, Patricia, I said, my phone already recording. Back for another round of lawn measurements? Her jaw tightened. Mr. Lawson, you've violated HOA bylaws by publishing defamatory content that misrepresents our community standards. Defamatory? I raised a brow. You mean the part where you climbed my fence? Because the camera didn't misrepresent that. One of the board members whispered something to her, clearly uncomfortable. Patricia ignored him and waved her clipboard in my face. You have 24 hours to remove that video, or we will fine you daily until you comply. I smiled. You might want to check. Section 9 of your own bylaws, residents are allowed to use security footage for personal protection. Oh, and mine's public record now. Over 500,000 views. Her face drained of color. For once, the queen of control didn't have a snappy comeback. By that evening, the story hit the local news. Reporters called it the HOA overreach herd. Around the suburbs, I had neighbors stopping me at the grocery store laughing, saying, "Man, you're a legend." But not everyone was laughing. HOA members started resigning quietly, citing ethical concerns. Someone leaked an email thread showing Patricia ordering visual inspections of multiple homes without consent. The internet pounced on it. Memes exploded. One had Patricia's face photoshopped on a Jungle Explorer holding a tape measure. The board tried to host an emergency meeting to control the damage, but only 6 residents showed up, 3 of them filming. Patricia's speech fell flat, interrupted by laughter and questions about her law enforcement cosplay. The final straw came when someone compiled all her incidents into a single, viral montage titled, Karen vs. Private Property, the Trilogy. Patricia wanted power. Now she had fame, and none of it flattering. But the storm wasn't done brewing. What she did next was pure desperation, and it dragged the entire HOA into chaos. 3 days after the viral chaos, I woke up to find my lawn looking like it had been attacked by a pack of angry mowers. The grass was uneven, flower beds trampled, and one of my camera poles was bent. Someone had clearly broken in overnight. But here's the kicker. Whoever did it left behind a single glove, with the HOA logo stitched right on it. I pulled up my backup camera feed from the side gate, and there she was. Again, Patricia, sneaking in at 1:42 a.m., dragging a lawn trimmer and muttering to herself like a cartoon villain. I watched her yank up my non-regulation plants and attempt to measure my fence again. Only this time she tripped over the hose, fell into the flower bed, and stumbled away with dirt all over her face. I couldn't believe it. This woman was out of control. By sunrise, I had the footage edited, time-stamped, and backed up in 3 places. Then I made a new post. HOA president returns for round 2. Guess who caught her again? The internet went wild. Within hours, the clip hit 2 million views. Comments poured in like wildfire. Does she think she's in a home inspection simulator? She's obsessed with your lawn, bro. Get a restraining order. Someone check if Patricia's okay. Mentally, I mean. But while everyone was laughing, Patricia was plotting. She stormed down to the HOA office and tried to file a complaint against me. She claimed I'd set traps in my yard and provoked her by maintaining unauthorized vegetation. The irony was enough to power a small city. The local reporter who covered the original story got wind of her complaint and called me for a follow-up interview. I showed him the latest footage, and his jaw dropped. "You're kidding," he said, laughing. "She did it again?" That night, the second video made the evening news under the headline, "HOA president caught trespassing again." Neighbors gathered outside, watching the replay on their phones. Even people from nearby communities came by to see the infamous lawn. By the next morning, Patricia's email was flooded. The HOA's hotline was jammed, and a few sponsors had pulled out of community partnerships. She called an emergency press meeting in front of her house, trying to salvage her reputation. But when she faced the cameras, trembling and defiant, something unexpected happened. A familiar police cruiser rolled up behind her. "Ma'am," the officer said, "we need to talk about a trespassing complaint." And just like that, Patricia's empire began to crumble. The crowd outside Patricia's house froze as the officer stepped forward, his tone calm but firm. Patricia tried to smile for the reporters, pretending everything was fine. "There must be some misunderstanding," she said through gritted teeth. "Actually, no," the officer replied. "We have security footage, timestamps, and multiple witnesses confirming you entered private property without consent twice. You could have heard a pin drop." The camera zoomed in as Patricia's fake grin melted away. I was conducting official HOA business," she stammered, her voice cracking. The officer tilted his head. "At 1 in the morning? With a lawn trimmer?" The crowd erupted with laughter. Some neighbors even started clapping. Patricia turned red as a chili pepper, her clipboard trembling in her hands. "This is harassment," she shrieked. The officer didn't budge. "Ma'am, please step aside. You're being cited for trespassing and property damage." Someone in the crowd shouted, "Guess she finally measured the wrong lawn." And the laughter only grew louder. By sunset, the entire neighborhood had seen the footage replayed on local news. The headline read, "HOA president, charged after viral trespassing." Videos, social media had turned her into an overnight meme. Legend, dubbed the measuring menace. I didn't have to lift a finger. The HOA board held an emergency vote the next day and officially removed Patricia as president. One board member even apologized to me personally, admitting we should have stopped her long ago. As for Patricia, she tried to sue me for emotional distress. Her case was dismissed within a week. The judge reviewed the footage and told her point blank, "Ma'am, your distress appears self-inflicted." Meanwhile, my lawn became a local tourist spot for a while. Folks stopped by to snap selfies near the fence where the HOA saga began. I even printed a small wooden sign that read, "Private property, trespassers will be filmed and go viral." A month later, a new HOA president was elected. A quiet, reasonable guy named Derek who actually knocked before visiting anyone's yard. The community calmed down. The endless fines stopped. And for the first time in years, people felt free to decorate, garden, and just live. As for Patricia, last I heard she moved out of the neighborhood entirely. Someone saw her in the next town over, joining another HOA board. Old habits die hard, I guess. But one thing's for sure. No matter where she goes, people still recognize her from that viral clip and whisper the same thing. There goes the woman who measured the wrong man's lawn. If you enjoyed this crazy HOA showdown, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more real-life neighborhood drama. Tell me in the comments what you would have done if a Karen climbed your fence. And don't forget to turn on notifications so you don't miss the next wild HOA story.